Donald Trump has never been a man of delicacy. Subtlety is not in his toolkit. Restraint is certainly not in his bloodstream. But even by his own theatrical standards, calling a sitting American congresswoman garbage and then extending that insult to an entire community marked a fresh plunge into political depravity. In one sentence, he violated the norms of public discourse, the spirit of the Constitution, and the idea that pluralism might still mean something in the United States. The presidency, once draped, however imperfectly, in the language of dignity, was reduced to a megaphone for spite. And as so often, his target was Ilhan Omar. In Omar, Trump condenses everything he fears and despises: the hijab, Africa, migration, Muslimness, womanhood, autonomy. What began as a routine attack on a Democratic opponent metastasized into a wholesale assault on an entire segment of American society. Ilhan Omar is garbage. Her friends are garbage. We don't want them in our country. Not the language of political disagreement, the language of eviction, as though addressing a trespasser on his private property, not an elected representative of the American people. Every insult is not only meant to wound her, but to discipline all those who resemble her. But this depravity does not stop with Ilhan Omar. As Trump's political failures deepen, his rhetoric grows more virulent. He berates reporters, sneers at foreign accents, demonizes migrants, and traduces Muslims, Africans, and Latinos with ritualistic regularity. This is not impulsiveness, this is ideology, an ideology of degradation. What sets Trump apart is not the originality of his racism, but its brazenness. The old codes have been discarded, the dog whistles, the plausible deniability, the shame. What was once whispered is now chanted. What crept along the fringe now struts at the center of power. And the consequences are immediate and grotesque. A Republican congressional candidate in Texas recently announced with a swagger of pure ignorance that she intended to kick out dirty Muslims, compressing millions of American citizens into a single sneer. No mention of policy, no argument, just raw, gutter-level bigotry delivered as campaign messaging. When challenged by Piers Morgan, she doubled down live on television with a foolish, self-satisfied smirk fixed on her face. This is the Trumpian ecosystem in full bloom: loud, illiterate, shameless. The spectacle would be darkly comic if it were not so dangerous. A migrant herself now campaigning as an immigration inquisitor, yanking the ladder up behind her. There's something grotesquely parodic about a party that wraps itself in the flag while outsourcing its moral voice to candidates who sound as though they've just crawled out of an ideological sewer. America has always been torn between two opposing traditions, one reaching for liberty, equality, and constitutional restraint, the other rooted in conquest, enslavement, and racial hierarchy. Trump and his evangelical entourage are not inventing new hatreds, they're laundering old ones. The language now hurled at Muslims mirrors almost perfectly the rhetoric once used to strip black people and people of color of their humanity. The target changes, the machinery does not. To insist that Islamophobia is merely a critique of belief rather than of people is sheer farce. In the American context, Muslims are overwhelmingly black, brown, and Asian, precisely the communities historically marked for racial subordination. Hatred of Islam here is not theological, it is racial, draped in religious costume. What Trump cannot tolerate and almost certainly cannot comprehend is that in this age of demographic transformation and global interdependence, Islam no longer sits at the margins of American life. It is in the cities, in the institutions, in the classrooms, in the labor, in the culture. Muslims are not visitors to the American story, they're among its authors. And yet Trump's hatreds are exquisitely selective. His fury toward Muslims dissolves instantly when confronted with oil, arms, and obscene wealth, because Trump hates Muslims but loves their money. The same man who sneers at Muslim refugees beams before Muslim monarchs and boasts of returning from the Gulf, Islam's birthplace, with $4 trillion in deals, a figure as inflated as his ego. It is as though his moral compass is calibrated exclusively in petrodollars. This This is the moral arithmetic of Trumpism: contempt for the weak, reverence for the powerful. If you're poor, brown, Muslim, displaced, you are surplus. If you are rich, corrupt, and useful, you're tremendous. And yet the final irony is this: the America Trump seeks to repel is already here. It is multiracial, multi-faith, irreversibly plural. It speaks many languages, it wears many faces, it worships in many ways, it votes, it builds cities, it doesn't ask permission to exist. Ilhan Omar incarnates that irreversibility. She's not merely a political opponent, she is a convergence of everything Trump longs to erase. Muslim, African, immigrant, woman, articulate, elected, she is the future walking openly through the present. The real struggle is not a personal duel between Trump and Ilhan Omar. It is a collision between two irreconcilable Americas, one embalmed in a mythologized, racialized white past, and another forcing its way forward, imperfect, plural, and unstoppable. What hangs in the balance is not merely a political contest. It is whether the United States will continue to kneel before the resentments Trump parades at politics, or finally confront and accept the country it has already become.